Hello everyone, my name's Alison Woodall and I'm a relocation coach. That means I get to help you with the financial, logistical and emotional issues that make moving to a new state so stressful. And today we are doing something slightly different. I am not talking to you about which state you should move to. I actually am talking to Nicolas and Francisco, and they're going to tell us about this amazing scheme that I only heard of quite recently called the Golden Visa Scheme. And you can go to Portugal as long as you meet certain criteria. So Francisco, Nicolas, welcome.
Thank you very much for having us.
Well, I've never been to Portugal. The closest I got to Portugal was going to visit Spain, but I know a lot about Portugal and I know it's beautiful. So for the Americans who are watching this video, who may not have any idea where Portugal is or what it's like, could we start maybe, Francisco, with you telling us about where Portugal is in Europe and what you love about it, because you are Portuguese.
Yeah, so basically, thank you very much for having us once again. I will be obviously quite biased because I love my country. I'm Portuguese, so sorry if I do exaggerate, but it's really a beautiful country.
Well, so for those people who are watching in the States and don't really know where Portugal is, I always think, and you probably would hate this, I think of it as kind of attached to Spain.
Yeah, we were quite famous for that.
Yeah. And I know the cultures are similar, but you have very strong different identities. But in a geographical sense, you're just above the Mediterranean, but on the Atlantic coast, and you're right next to Spain. So you have that wonderful Mediterranean climate. It's warm, dry summers, and it's cooler winters, but without the snow. Yeah. Do you have mountains?
We have, well, it's not that big, but in the inland, we have what we call Serra da Estrela, which is a mountain. But it's not that high. It does snow in the top, but just like it's not that big. And the most in the southern plain is all very like plains, so very linear, not very
flat.
mountains.
Yes.
And in the north is more rocky and mountains.
Okay. And so the mountains that you're talking about, are they the kind of mountains that you could go hiking through if you were, you don't have to be a mountaineer, if you were just like a fit athletic family and you wanted to take your kids hiking, it's that kind of, those kind of mountains?
Yeah, you can if you are like really enthusiastic to hiking a huge mountain. Probably you will not have here in Portugal, but for sure we have. Lisbon is called the city of 7 hills. So it's all like this. It's a city, but it's not hiking. You have proper mountains in Sintra. There is a lot of hiking in Sintra, which is beautiful. But no, I could not say that we are like.
Okay, perfect. All right. So you have beaches, you have mountains, you have the beautiful plains, you have great kind of warm Mediterranean weather. There's no humid. It's not very humid, is it? It's dry heat.
More or less. It's not that dry as well. So when it's cold, normally, and we compare very much with Spain, Madrid, since it's really inland, the winter is very dry, and here is more humid. So even if the temperature is higher, you can feel more cold, but it's completely bearable. It's average. It's not that cold.
What is remarkable about the weather in Portugal is more than 300 days of sun.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
Basically, you can count rainy days on like 2 people's hands. So which is quite nice.
Wonderful. And because people in California, they get worried about humidity and extreme weather, because the weather in California is, I mean, it gets very hot, but it's a dry heat. So Californians are always looking for somewhere that has a similar climate. And my experience of the Mediterranean, which is more Spain and northern Italy, is that the climate is very similar. And when you talk about humidity, that humidity is not like Miami in the middle of summer, where you get out of the shower and you're immediately drenched in sweat.
No, not at all.
Well, perfect. So let's talk about cities. So Lisbon is obviously the capital. How big? I mean, how many million people live there? Is it a big city by European standards, or is it kind of medium city?
Well, I will give you. That's an excellent question. I will give you some figures, because Portugal is a small country. It's not that big. We have a 10 million population, 11 million population, so it's not that big. It's very, very small. Spain is probably about 60 or 70 million. So from those 11 million, 1 million live in Lisbon, which is the greater city. And then the remaining part, 90% live on the coastal area, and like 1 million live across from north to south in the inland. But the majority of the people is within the coastal area.
Okay, and then if you were, so I always think of it as kind of long and thin. So if I wanted to drive from east to west, how long would that take, roughly?
1 hour and 30. Normally.
Okay, and if I wanted to go north to south?
North to south, you probably get like 6 hours.
Okay, because that's the thing in American terms, you have to know how long is it going to take. So I mean, that a 6-hour drive, that's something that you can do in the morning. You know, you can drive from Portugal to Spain. You can fly very quickly from Lisbon to anywhere else in Europe. If you have a week's vacation, you can get in your car and you can drive and you can see all of Europe. So while Portugal would maybe where you live, you've got the whole of Europe that opens up to you. I think before we get onto the visa, I would love to just talk about you touched on healthcare earlier. So is it like national healthcare where it's provided free and it's paid for with your taxes, or do you have private healthcare?
So we have both. Answer, we have both. The normal people would do. It's if you have any urgency, you will be attended by the public system. But normally you have health insurance where it's not that expensive. You pay probably around 140 euros, meaning like $167, to have a wide range of service on the private sector, which it's kind of affordable. And but both, either public or even private, they both work very, very good.
Okay, perfect. And then in terms of let's start talking about the visa, because I'm interested in, you know, because obviously the visa and how you get the visa would impact whether someone can get a job there and all of those kind of things. Who would like to explain about the golden visa?
Nicolas, be my guest.
Okay, thank you, Francisco. So basically, there are two ways of visa, because you mentioned getting a work here. So you have the D7 visa, which is pretty popular for the digital nomads. So you can apply if you can prove a passive income, and then you can stay like you have a full residency, but you have to stay 6 months per year. So it's for people who want to relocate now and don't want or can afford a big investment as the golden visa requires. The golden visa, on the other hand, is a passive residency program where you have to invest a certain amount in Portugal for 5 years, and then you have to stay 7 days a year to renew it every year. So basically, for 5 years, you have the option of relocating, spending time in Europe because you have the visa for the 5 years, so you can freely travel across all the
Schengen space,
all the Schengen space, but as well all the countries which Portugal has like agreements with. So which are like Portugal is the third best passport in the world, if I remember correctly the passport scale. So it's a very interesting program if you want to have a backup plan, if you want to plan your retirement, and like things like that. So maybe from school you can tell a bit more about the investment routes that are available.
Yeah, for sure. So in order to get the golden visa, as Nicolas was mentioning, you need to fulfill certain requirements. On your personal, you need to have a clean criminal record. You need to have, of course, the amount eligible for the route that you choose, because there are several routes. And you have to have all your information. You need to get a proper tax number here in Portugal, which with the right lawyer, you are able to do all of that without leaving your home. That's perfect. You just sign powers of attorney and they will rely on doing everything for you. And then you can either choose. The most popular are the buying a property, which you can buy. Nowadays, from 2021 to 2022, there was some restrictions on the area. So the coastal area, the most popular area, is now not available. So you need to invest in land if you want to buy a property. Or you choose to buy, this will cost you 500,000 euros, which is, you need to multiply that for dollars, it's probably roughly around 520, $30,000. Then you have the touristic apartments, which is the same value, but you can purchase in all of the country. Then one very popular, it's the fund route. You invest €500,000 in a venture capitalist fund, and you meet the requirements. Then you can renovate a house in a low density area for 280,000 euros, or you go through 350 in a high density area. You can invest or just put 1.5 million in the bank in a term deposit, and you meet the requirements. You have a lot of routes available. I think the most popular one are the fund routes and the buying a property.
Okay, and so I want to explain to people, when I first heard about this, my first thought was, that sounds too good to be true. But the reason that this all started is because Portugal was not getting enough immigration. There were a lot of people leaving. It is one of the, you know, the less economically robust countries. I don't know a better way to put it. And so it was a way that the government came up with to get people to buy property and, you know, renovate them, to get investment into the country, either by buying property, rent, you know, or just literally, if you had some money, you could put it into some investment, and then they would give you a visa. So it sounds too good to be true, but it really is just the most amazing opportunity.
Alison, I can give you a little bit of additional context. So we in Europe, after the subprime crisis that happened in 2007, 2008, we had the sovereign crisis in Europe, where the public debt for every country and the interest rates gone very, very up. And to fight the crisis, Portuguese government said, well, we need to attract foreign investment. So we will concede visas to the Schengen area if a person invests in Portugal. The first route and the most popular was to buy a house. Just you put $500,000, and I think I had a meeting with a lawyer today, and we reached the 11,000 people that enroll in the program. So it's quite astonishing. And you just put money in the property and get a visa. Then with the success of the program, as Nicolas was mentioning, we are the Golden Visa program in Portugal is the third more popular in the world, which is quite good. And I truly understand you that when you say this is too good to be true. But here in Portugal, we are small scale, so $500,000 for us. And if you multiply by all the applicants, make a lot of impact on the city. And you saw one of the beautiful things that you saw the city, not only in Lisbon, but in Algarve, in Porto, the city starting to become even more towards the tourism, towards services, and much more beautiful.
Yeah. Well, the way that I look at it, there's so many Americans who think that they're going to go and retire in Central America because it's, you know, it's cheap. It's cheap. It gives you that beach lifestyle. It gives you, you know, great opportunities, and your retirement money goes much further. But when I, you know, did my research on this, my first thought was, wow, well, you could, obviously, if you're an American, you're further away from America, but you're living in a country with a great healthcare system. You've got the whole of Europe to explore if you choose to, you know, to retire to Portugal. Your money's going to go further. It's just, it was just a great opportunity. And then presumably there's not any age requirements. So obviously this would work great for a retiree, but if someone who has kids wants to take advantage, they can too. Or if someone's young and decides they want to go live in Europe for, you know, 5-10 years, they could do it as well.
For sure. And I think it's the Golden Visa itself, it's a provider of options. So with this, and given your own context and your own objectives, with this you can decide and you have multiple choices. So I do believe that this golden visa, that's why the golden visa program in Portugal is so popular, because it provides you with a lot of opportunities. But let me add you two things on Portugal. One thing that every person that comes here tells is how great food we have, and the loving people that Portuguese people are. Not to be biased.
No, it's great. I know very few Portuguese people, but the few that I knew, and I know quite a few Brazilians, and it's similar culture. I know it's different, but yes, very friendly, great people. So I have to ask, so when you say 500,000 to some Californians, they may think that's very affordable, but to other people that may be like insane, crazy money. But what does that say? I wanted to buy a house with my 500,000. If I want, what would that get me in terms of like square, like in terms of a house size? Is it a big house? Does it get me land? I know it depends on the area, but could you give me kind of an idea what that would get me?
Given that the program doesn't allow you anymore to buy a property, just a residential property in the main locations, I will tell you what we will buy in the mainland. In inland, so places like Alentejo, which is quite famous, Viseu, which is quite famous as well, or inland in Algarve, that will buy you probably a nice villa, very nice villa, with land, pool as well. So that will be very, very, very good. Okay. On the other side, and in the capital, let's say in Lisbon, in the main areas where people want to live, that will buy you probably a one-bedroom apartment from 50 square meters.
Okay. And I can't convert meters into feet. So
one-bedroom apartment.
We're not talking like a tiny little apartment. We're talking like a reasonable size one. But and I think a lot of the people watching this, this video, they're probably looking more to have that little bit of land, that kind of relaxed lifestyle, maybe not the city, but who knows, maybe someone young's watching this and they want that urban lifestyle. So that's good, just to, so you could get a beautiful villa with a pool, a little bit of land, or you could do a nice one-bedroom apartment in a good city. Okay, and so if someone is not retired, if they decide to take advantage of this because they see it as an opportunity to get into Europe, so they invest their 500,000, they buy their property or they put it in one of these funds, they get the visa, and the visa lasts, you said, for 5 years.
Yeah. So basically, the concept is you will meet the requirements, you apply in the online platform for the immigration office. Then you need to be pre-approved, you do the biometrics, and then you receive your first golden visa card. Those golden visa cards last, they have a validity of 2 years. In those 2 years, you need to meet, again, the same requirements, and you have the first renovation, which is in the end of the 2 years. Then you get the second renovation, so it's 2 and 2 years. What is wonderful is because after 5 years that you receive your first golden visa card, you can apply either to citizenship or to permanent residency. So, and those two big things are what people, the people that enroll the program look for.
Okay. And if I decided at the end of my 5 years, I've seen all of Europe, it was a great, amazing experience, but now I'm ready to go back to the US. Can I sell my house, pull my investment property or my investment out, and then my visa is cancelled and I can go straight back to the US?
You will still have 1 year remaining, because those golden visa cards are for 2 years.
Okay.
So after the 5 year, you still have, if by some chance I forgot something in Portugal, I need to go back. But yes, you can withdraw any requirement that you have, sell or reimburse your participation units or something, and you go back to the United States and it's done.
Wow. You might be seeing me in Lisbon. Right now, I have my daughter is about to go into high school, so I've got 4 years, and in 4 years I'm selling my house here, and I had this plan for how I was going to go see the US. Maybe I'm going to take my husband and explore Europe for 5 years or 6 years. And
welcome, because I do believe that the program as it is, the process is becoming even more tighter every year. So enjoy the opportunity while there is, and welcome. Let me know when you have.
Well, thank you. And I was just thinking something. So I don't speak, growing up in England, when you speak English as your first language, you never learn another language. I learned French, but Nicolas, if you heard my French, you'd be absolutely horrified. So if someone moves to Portugal and they don't speak Portuguese, do most people speak English? Is it easy?
As an expat, I can tell you, because I arrived 6 months ago in Lisbon, and I was really impressed by how good English speakers the Portuguese are. Because in France, for example, if you drive 2 hours from Paris, nobody speaks English anymore, and they will look at you with round eyes, saying, "What is this?" And then in Portugal, even in the mainland, really, everybody speaks English quite well. So that's, I think, why it's a great destination for US as well as UK citizens. It's a very popular destination for them.
If I can add, just to provide you one figure. So here, public free school, you have free school till the 12th grade. So, and since the very beginning, since the first grade, you have English in your resume.
Now, if they move in the main cities of Portugal, these are like very cosmopolitan areas. So everybody speaks English, because you have even in like our company, everybody is from different backgrounds, different countries. So it's very easy to fit in Portugal.
Okay, well, perfect. So if someone loves everything that we've talked about and wants to find out more, what is the best way for someone to reach out and to contact you? Or do you have a website where they can go and find more information?
Yes, we have. You can just go to see more information on OptylonKrea.com.
Okay, and I'm gonna link to that wherever you're watching the video, because made that sound really, really fancy, but I wouldn't have any idea how to spell it. So the link to that website will be wherever you're watching this video.
Yeah, for sure. And then you can just approach us through the website, or we can give you our contacts and they can approach us, no problem.
Okay, do you have like an email address if you could give out?
Yeah, for sure. It's famaral@optylonkrea.com.
Okay, and I'll link to that. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, wonderful. Well, I really appreciate you talking to me. It's got me all excited. I always imagine I could never, well, I know I can't go back to England. England's too cold, and it's not somewhere I could live anymore. But you know, Southern Europe's always appealed to me, and this visa scheme just it's very interesting. So I hope lots of people will reach out and contact you. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Alison.